How did Cole Palmer become the Premier League's best player seemingly overnight? He's on track for the Golden Boot and is the front runner for Player of the Year. But if you had said this would be the case at the start of the season, you'd be called crazy. So how did we get here? Well, the truth is, the main thing holding him back was Pep Guardiola, and Cole Palmer has now provided the perfect blueprint for other high potential young players to follow. We'll talk about how his potential was finally fully unlocked and the secret to what makes Cole Palmer so good. Anyone who watched Palmer at the academy level knew the talent this kid had. He played as a number 10/right winger with great speed and was shifty on the ball. His technical ability is what stood out the most. With a deadly left foot, passing, dribbling, finishing, he could do it all. His coaches were the first to heap so much praise onto a kid that was clearly levels above the rest. It wasn't until 2022 when he started getting game time in the first team at 19, scoring against Swindon in an FA Cup and even getting a goal in the Champions League. Whenever he played, he was full of confidence. His cameos were impressive, but by the 22-23 season, he still wasn't getting that much game time. When he did play, you could tell he had a point to prove. Against Chelsea at the end of the season, he wasn't afraid of running at the veteran defender Aspilicueta multiple times, even assisting the only goal of the game too. It wasn't a perfect performance, but you can see the signs of someone special. He was clearly getting on the manager's radar because to start the 23-24 season, he came off the bench against Arsenal in an intense Community Shield and like it was nothing, scores a worldie with his left foot wrapping the ball into the back of the net. That was enough for him to actually start the UEFA Super Cup against Sevilla, where he once again got on the score sheet. A lovely ball in by Rodri with the elite movement by Palmer to get on the end of it and score a looping header. Against two big clubs in two big games, Palmer had scored in both. It was clear to Cole that he was good enough to play against Europeans' top sides, but that wasn't what Pep Guardiola had in mind. See, Palmer is 21 years old, and up until this point as a City player, he only played 1,481 first team minutes. If we compare that to the other big academy prospects, Foden, Rico Lewis and Oscar Bob, by the same age, Foden had over 6,500 minutes. Rico Lewis, who's only 19, has over 3,000 minutes, with only Oscar Bob, who turns 21 in July, lower with 804 minutes. Palmer was severely lagging behind in first team minutes. At 21, he simply wasn't playing enough. The sad truth was, that wasn't going to change either. He was already behind Bernardo, Mahrez and Foden, and when Mahrez left, Pep then brought in another winger in Jeremy Doku to make the attacking positions more cramped up. Pep told him he can't be loaned, so either he stays or gets sold. In that moment, Palmer had a massive choice to make. Stay at the club you've been at since 6, or leave. Deep down, he knew staying at City, it was going to be impossible to get the minutes he needs to fully develop his game. So crazily enough, he told Pep he wants out. Pep even told him, Mahrez is leaving so you have a chance to play, but Palmer wasn't hearing it. Chelsea came knocking and spent a massive £40 million on him. For someone with 1,500 minutes of first team football, that was insane. But clearly they saw something in him most didn't. In fact, only a few knew how big this transfer was for Chelsea. Specifically, this one guy in the comments of The Athletic announcing Palmer's departure. Wow, sensation. I'm convinced City have made a catastrophic error. Palmer is gonna be a superstar. Some fans thought Palmer joining Chelsea for game time was silly, but realistically, there were maybe 1 or 2 players that might have rivaled him compared to the 6 players firmly ahead of him at City. It was a risk for Palmer, but like I said, the kid knew he was good. He always played with a ton of confidence, and to him, this was a no-brainer, and boy, how right he was. He immediately started getting minutes, and it didn't take long until Palmer was dubbed the best player at Chelsea, being the first name on the team sheet every week. His elite technical ability we saw at City was on full display. His dribbling is super effective, being able to switch directions quickly and lose his opponent, with finishing that actually rivals some of the best number 9s in the league. He has become a goal scoring machine with some beautiful finishes, being able to place the ball right into the corner where no keeper can reach. Combine that with his playmaking too. With a wide passing range, even though he plays as a number 10 or right winger, you'll see him drop deep to receive the ball and show off that elite passing range, setting his team up for easy chances. While showcasing all of that is good, the one thing Palmer needs to get way more credit for is his insane football IQ. He is constantly making the right decisions in most scenarios. On the attack, you can see him process the defense and make the right choice to best help with the team attack, opting to pass when most players would shoot or try and create space on the dribble. No doubt his time with Pep helped a lot, but his IQ stems further. His pressing ability and interceptions that lead to goal scoring chances are genuinely ridiculous. I honestly don't think I've seen a player do this more than him. I can name 7 occasions of this alone. Against Fulham, he intercepts a pass that leads to a goal.
The big moment that could be for him, and it's gifted here to Palmer. Brian for two.
Against Villa, he expertly reads Longley's pass but can't convert. Against Arsenal, he cut off Raya's pass, which almost leads to a goal, but they were let off. Against Middlesbrough, but it didn't lead to a goal.
What an awful clearance.
Against Luton, he did this and had the elite finish to match.
Oh, mistake has given Palmer.
He did this against Middlesbrough again with a goal this time.
Oh, mistake has given Palmer the ball. He can score.
And he did it against Everton, where he baits Pickford to make the pass through the middle and pounces on it before lifting it over Pickford with his weak foot to seal his 2nd hat-trick of the season. The level of intelligence to do that on such a consistent level is simply world class. He also has great off-ball movement, always running into areas with lots of space. He just knows when and where to run. It just looks so natural for him. Best example is against Luton, where he instinctively just knows when to run in behind to get through on goal before calmly rolling the ball past the goalkeeper, sending 2 defenders on their bike and slotting the ball away. Ice cold. Just like Madueke said.
Finish from him, wasn't it?
Yeah, that's why they call him Cold Palmer, innit?
This is now becoming what he is most known for, ice cold under pressure. That's why he takes the pressure penalties for Chelsea. Not only is he 9 for 9 on penalties this season, but he scored massive pens, including a 99th minute equaliser against United, before winning it all late on in that game, and even a 94th minute equaliser against his former club. And what celebration does he do? The ice cold shrug. When he was asked if he was nervous taking the penalty, his response was,
Did you feel nerves?
Not really.
He's been the man for Chelsea this year, and Poch knows how important he is for the team. The way he reads the situations and what the team needs in every situation, he can be the player who can link up with his teammates. He is still very, very young, but with great personality, and he has the talent and the quality, which we saw. As much as Palmer has significantly helped Poch this season, it's important to state how much Poch has helped Palmer too. It's no secret now, the reason Palmer can take these risks and have the freedom to play how he does is because Poch gives him the license to.
I think he's given me the confidence and the license to go where I want on the pitch, where I feel, use my strengths. So yeah, I'm just grateful for it.
This was the biggest reason why he needed to leave City. Playing under Pep as a young player, mistakes are the last thing you can make. We've seen how Pep reacts even if you're 10-0 up. Grealish even said himself he feels nervous playing for Pep. Pep doesn't want you to lose the ball. I'm thinking, I can't lose this ball. Having that fear as a youngster trying to fight your way into the team is going to make you play it as safe as possible. But under Poch, it's the complete opposite. Poch has allowed him freedom to roam, to try certain passes, even allowing him to shoot from range. Just looking at his shot map, he would never take that many shots outside the box for Man City in his entire career. The confidence that gives to your younger players is immense. His ability to drop deep and combine with his teammates, make deep passes and connect the midfield and the attack has progressed Chelsea's attack to the next level. When he plays, their attack is much more fluid, and without him, Chelsea would have a lot less goals. In fact, he contributes the most goals to his team than any other player in the entire league, with nearly 50% of Chelsea's goals coming from this man alone. He's very closely in the race for Golden Boot at the time of this recording, and he's averaging 1.26 goals and assists per 90 minutes, which is way above everyone else in the league right now, with Salah second at 1.09 and Haaland 1.03. Palmer isn't just playing well, he's playing like the best player in the league, and for sure has Young Player of the Year wrapped up and is making a strong case for Player of the Year. He's actually having one of the best Premier League seasons we've seen from a young player. Only 2 players since 2000 aged 22 or younger have registered 30 or more goals and assists. Cristiano Ronaldo with 31 in the 07-08 season, which won him his first Ballon d'Or, and Haaland with a massive 44 who won the treble. Palmer is going to be joining that club very soon. In fact, by the time you watch this, he probably already has. This Palmer season is already up there as one of the best individual seasons we've seen from any Chelsea player. Up there with Hazard, Drogba, and even some of Lampard's most prolific seasons. So why is Cole Palmer the blueprint for younger players? Well, he's not the first young player to leave for more game time, but his situation was very interesting. Pep has already admitted it was his fault that Palmer left by not playing him more, but to answer the question of do City regret selling him, they didn't really have much choice, and this is where we need to commend the 21-year-old. He knew how difficult it was going to be to leave City, leave his hometown, and walk away from the chance to play under the best manager in the world. But he knew his worth. He knew the only way to grow as a player was to leave his comfort zone and find a new challenge. Because imagine if he did stay. He wouldn't be in the race for the Golden Boot, he wouldn't be Young Player of the Year, he wouldn't even have gotten his first England call-up. I mean, Palmer isn't fighting to go to the Euros anymore, he's fighting for a starting role. None of that would have happened for him if he didn't make the right choice for himself. The example Palmer is setting isn't for the youth players who are never going to get minutes, it's for the youth players with that 5-star potential to be truly world-class players sitting on the bench week in week out, begging to get a sniff of game time. Your progress is being halted, and going on loan isn't the solution. That only works if you know the position you're going to play is going to lose 2 or 3 players soon. But temporarily going to a country you're unfamiliar with, not even having a chance to settle in, isn't great. Actually leaving seems more sensible. Even the kids that move to big clubs at a young age with hopes of making it in their first team isn't the right move. Odegaard is one that springs to mind, joining Real Madrid at 15 but never having a real path. Being loaned out left and right, never settling into a club, hurt his progress more than it helped. Eventually, he was loaned to Arsenal for 6 months, then joined them permanently. Soon after, he was made Arsenal captain and is now fulfilling his true potential and is helping lead Arsenal to potential trophies. It's something Haaland has made sure to avoid in his career, moving from Molde to Salzburg, and after Salzburg had the choice to go to many clubs, but decided to go where he would get game time in Dortmund, which skyrocketed his development and eventually earned him a big money move. Bellingham and Sancho both did the same thing and it paid off for them. Someone like Xavi Simons returning to PSG after leaving for PSV only to then go out on loan to Leipzig, and he still might not have a spot when he returns to PSG, is wild. Arda Güler, another one. Yes, he was injured, but even after he's returned from injury, he's played a whopping 98 minutes this season. An entire year of no football, and there's no path for him because there's no way he gets into this Real Madrid squad. He'll be loaned out constantly and his growth will slow down. It's something I slightly worry might happen to Endrick. With Mbappe coming in, Vinicius Jr., Rodrigo, Jude all ahead of him, plus more, there doesn't seem to be the most obvious pathway for him unless he basically joins and ends up being the best attacker in the world straight away. But this Palmer situation extends to the young players who feel some sense of loyalty to the clubs that have helped them become the footballers they are today. The truth is, game time is more important than loyalty when that club will have no problem kicking you to the curb. The biggest example in England right now is Emil Smith-Rowe. This guy was Arsenal's first choice left winger and was playing so well he was getting England call-ups with a few caps under his belt. But after one injury setback, he's now behind Martinelli, Trossard and Jesus at left wing and behind Rice and Havertz at that left-sided number 8. Most Arsenal fans know ESR has to leave to develop but don't want to see him go. But he has way too much potential to be riding the bench for the rest of his career. There is no pathway for him and he needs to get out while he can. Palmer is by no means the first player to ever do this, but he's for sure one of the biggest examples of leaving his hometown because he wasn't playing and instantly becoming one of the best footballers in the world. We have never seen someone have the same turnover as him, going from relatively unknown to now playing on the international stage. He's the blueprint of what young players today can actually become if they actually prioritize development over big clubs. And there's no doubt this guy will only get better from here on out.